Hi, everyone. Um, I always forget to do this, so I can. There we go. Hi. So I'm getting on kind of quickly because I had an incident happen to me today, and I needed to share about it because it was kind of amazing. So last year I was diagnosed with diabetes. Um, I'm legally obese. Can't tell, but that's, whatever obese is, right? I am overweight. But I'm going to be 54 this year, and I was formally diagnosed with diabetes last year. I had been in pre-diabetes mode for years, and I actually reversed it back in 2018 because I was doing keto. Uh, okay. I reversed it by doing keto. I did a massive turnaround with my health. I had gone through menopause, and I had, yeah, sorry, I'm distracted. I've got to go to work in like an hour. So I had been really suffering from chronic fatigue on and off for many, many years. And the it was really problematic, and my doctors couldn't figure out why. They couldn't figure out why I was falling asleep. They couldn't figure out why I had no energy, etc. I had a second round of it that had gotten so bad that I couldn't put one foot in front of the other, literally. And I had started going to a health food store. I went to my doctor before all this and I said, "I think I need a B12 shot." And she's like, we don't do B12 shots anymore. You get it all from your food." That's what she told me, wrote. I was frustrated because I was really suffering from fatigue. I had massive fatigue. I just like, ugh, I couldn't drag myself across the finish line. And on and off, I'd been hearing about D3 and some other stuff, and I made a lot of changes in my diet. I started supplementing with D3, and then I told my doctor, I said, I want to get a D3 test. I had been supplementing for a couple of weeks, and by the time I got my test, it still showed that I was deficient. She's like, "Oh, I guess yeah, sir, you can start supplementing." Okay, that made a major turnaround. I started taking B complex with intrinsic factor, which I can't get anymore. That actually, I think I said something. I did a post with regards to my gene site thing where sorry, distracted, where it confirmed that I my genetic body does not metabolize certain B vitamins. That is just scientifically, that's the way my body is. And so your average cyanocobalamin won't do anything for me, really. It's kind of worthless. But anyway, I digress. So I made a lot of big changes. Primarily, I was doing keto. I was losing weight. I lost about 20 pounds. I really had made a big turnaround. And then, of course, the pandemic hit and it completely fell off the wagon. Stress levels went through the roof. And my diet just went down the toilet. I wasn't eating horrible, horrible, but I just got off my thing. I mean, I had started doing intermittent fasting, the whole 9 yards, and that just completely just went bye-bye. And I gained all my weight back, and, my mental health went back into the toilet to the point where last year was one of the worst years of my life mentally, and just everything just caught up with me. Thank you, pandemic. Thank you. And so my doctor said, "You need to go on metformin and blah, blah, blah." And so I already had a blood glucose monitor that I was checking with my ketones as well, but I that was not covered by my insurance. So I got another one, a little cheapy one, which I wish I had done a little bit more research because I wish I could do it with my Bluetooth. I never really checked my blood glucose. I was checking my ketones primarily, but now I've got a cheapy blood glucose monitor. I check it in the morning. And I'm averaging anywhere from 125 to 140 ish in the mornings, my fasting, give or take, which I don't know. Everyone says that diabetes is different, and that's one of the big things. Like everybody's a little bit different, like how our bodies are. They're all very different. Okay, that's fine. I didn't know. I spoke to another friend. My A1C was 7.5. And I spoke to a friend who is in the same practice. They're in the same medical practice as I am. And she was pissed off. Like, she's like, I think that they're changing and like lowering the threshold to be diabetic so they can give you drugs, right? I know, ooh, conspiracy sounding. But hear me out. As I'm doing research, a lot of people are like, oh, yeah. And I'm like 7.5 and suddenly I'm diabetic, right? But I obeyed. I followed and I talked to my doctor and she prescribed me metformin and I went on metformin when I hated it because I was starting to change my diet back again. And so it was making me feel really wonky. So I just said, but the metformin was free because my insurance would cover that. But I was changing my diet. So I thought, I'm going to go and really, this will put a fire into my butt. I got to do this. And so I started doing that. And I started to, I felt like I was starting to lose a little bit of weight. I've gained all that back. It's like, anyway. And so I joined all these groups on diabetes and I started looking instead of like ketones, instead of looking at like carb values, because I was doing like I was trying to do the strict, although I wasn't that strict, but I was looking at carbs and my carb count versus like glucose, the sugar index of foods. Okay. Like glucose index of foods. Had been doing that. I've been looking at the carbs. And of course there's this huge controversy in our society about like, oh, we're not gonna carb shame and blah blah blah. Carbs aren't bad. I mean, it is a battle. It's a war, right? And I'm sitting here and I'm going, what the hell? Like this is so ridiculous, right? I understand that people do keto for their own reasons. People do you do you because your body and your diet, whatever. But then I read an article briefly today about, and I keep getting, as I'm going through this process with the diabetes thing, like, okay, I am a diabetic, spoke to a nutritionist, a dietitian, blah, 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 right? And they spoke to me and they're like, "Oh, okay, well, carbs are bad and you need to blah, 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 blah." And I'm just like, it was very it was like way down here. And I'm like, the stuff that I learned when I was doing keto, I'm like up here and I'm like taught, like, oh, and I know this and this and that. Oh, well, you know so much more than a lot of people. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm smart, like, because I did my homework. And so I'm like spinning circles around them, right? And so I've been going and I've been struggling along, like trying foods and seeing how I feel. And because there's some foods that I really miss. Like I've been eating rice a little bit more, which is not good. White bread, not very good, because those will spike your blood glucose. I eat a lot of vegetables. I like salads. I like roasted vegetables. I like fish. So I'll eat, sardines and stuff like that, really fatty, oily fishes and mackerel. I love mackerel. So I'm like, I know how to eat healthy, folks. I drink um, Kroger brand seltzer water with either this stuff, which probably isn't the best, but I do it. It gives some flavor and it also has some B vitamins. Not they're gonna help me, but they've got electrolytes in it as well because you have to be really careful. Like one thing when you're doing keto, you're supposed to really pay attention to your electrolytes. And you drink a lot of water, drink lots and lots of water. Okay. So I went and but I started investigating different things and going down this diabetes and looking at things from the diabetes perspective. And I'm noticing that the diabetes is an industry. And I'm seeing a lot of articles that comment on the fact that diabetes, it's an industry. It's an industry. And I'm on these Facebook diabetic groups, right? I'm on these Facebook diabetic groups and I hear these women complaining about, I get so tired of drinking water. Oh my God, can I drink like sugar free soda? And oh, my sugar spikes are really high. And they're like reporting like 300, 400. And I don't know what their body is. I don't know what they look like. I don't know that. Okay. Fine. But I got so fed up because I was like, and I mean, I'm not eating really great myself right now. I'm very stressed. I wasn't feeling very well, but I know how to eat. And that's the difference. I'm like, I have cortisol dysregulation. And so I think a lot of my diabetes issues, my insulin stuff is affected by my cortisol dysregulation issues. So I went and I posted on this group today. And I said, I'm so aggravated. And I was kind of had a very frustrated tone. I wasn't all caps or anything like that. And I said, so many people's health could be helped. Their diabetes and their health could be helped if they just removed the sugar, they stopped drinking sugary pop, stopped drinking sugar free pop, and got rid of the aspartame, quit eating the margarine and the canola oil kind of stuff and start doing healthy fats like avocado oil and olive oil and just eating this way. And I said, if they just did that, then they would be a lot healthier and happier and da 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 da. Posted this on this group. Man, I got flack. Oh my God, your tone is so harsh, and I can't even remember. They've already taken it down. They approved it. Like all the messages have to be approved. They approved it, posted. People had such a reaction to it because they thought I was just too harsh. I was too harsh to tell them that they shouldn't drink sugary sodas and they shouldn't drink sugar-free soda and they shouldn't eat margarine because oh my God, like, don't tell me that. You've just got such a mean tone, and maybe people would be more receptive. People would be more receptive if you were nicer. I mean, that's basically literally what they said, right? That I wasn't being nice and that my tone was nasty and mean. I'm like, oh my God, I just said, I'm frustrated. I'm like, if people just did this, they would be a lot healthier, and someone even said, where's your medical degree? And I'm like, and I was picking up food for my partner, and so I didn't get I said, "Well, I'll respond when I get home." Well, by the time I get home, the whole entire post and all the responses, there was like 20 responses on this thing, and I was gonna respond. And they just all of them were like, "Oh my God, it just, that's you just, you're really your tone is so," like it was all about my tone. It was all about my tone and how oh, I just sound like I was ordering people to do things and I was just had a mean tone, and I'm like, oh my God, because I'm telling you, I'm just saying if people did this they would be healthier, and you're saying where's my medical degree? This stuff is out there, folks. It's common knowledge. It's not like I'm telling you anything, ooh, this is mysterious new knowledge. And it's like, again, it's this whole thing like, where's your medical degree? You need a medical degree to tell somebody not to drink sugary soda all the time? You need a medical degree to tell somebody, that, trans fats are bad for you? Read a study. Go look. I mean, they've been talking about this stuff, and people are just these little fragile snowflakes that can't handle this basic knowledge about their health. And I posted another follow-up. I said, "I guess my post got," they probably won't post it. They probably won't, approve my post. But I said, "I wish that someone, when I was a kid, one adult had taken the time," and I love my mother, I do. I love, she's not alive anymore, but I loved her. She did the best she could do. She was a doctor. She worked hard. She had her own issues. But the adults around me were too bloody fucking permissive. Excuse my French. And I am angry about that because a lot of the problems that I'm dealing with today, I can probably do a direct result. That the way I ate when I was a kid directly resulted how I feel today. These issues, my cortisol, I have ADHD, I have mood issues, anxiety, the whole 9 yards. And if I had had a healthier diet when I was a kid, without the sugar, I had more vegetables, I didn't drink the pop, all that kind of stuff, I probably would have been able to focus in school better. I would have had better mood regulation. I wouldn't have been so hyper. I wouldn't have fallen asleep in class. The whole 9 yards. Focus, everything. I know this for a fact. And I'm angry because there wasn't one adult in the room that gave a crap. Not one adult, not even my mother, and she used to cook meals, but she was a doctor. She was very busy. But I'm still struggling with that. I'm still frustrated about that whole aspect because there was no adults. They didn't care enough to sit there and say, "Oh, no, I'm not going to let you drink Mountain Dew for breakfast in the morning. And I'm not going to let you eat a can of chocolate icing when you come home from after school and a can of SpaghettiOs with meatballs. And you can have a can of chocolate icing for dessert." I used to eat that stuff and Doritos. Of course, we all had Doritos, and I'm amazed. And the only reason I probably didn't get any criticism is because I wasn't fat child. I wasn't fat. I didn't have a weight problem, but I was hyperactive. I had meltdowns. I had cortisol dysregulation and emotional dysregulation issues. Yay! Why? Because I have cortisol dysregulation. And that is a direct cause that could have been managed. I mean, those reasons are from my mother, that generational stuff, and it wouldn't have been perfect, but it would have been better managed. It would have been better managed, and I probably wouldn't have the quote unquote diabetes, which, do I have diabetes? I don't know. I haven't gotten my A1C checked lately. I just am going by what I feel. And I do feel jittery sometimes. Like if I eat something really weird, I feel tired or I feel jittery or I feel hangry, the whole 9 yards. And I'm like, ooh, I didn't eat something right. Something's off. When I was doing keto, I was eating a lot of cheese. I was eating a lot more fat in my diet, and my energy levels were so much better. I was actually starting to do intermittent fasting. My mood was better. My energy was better. All my inflammation went away. All my inflammation. I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk up the steps because my knees hurt so badly. All that went away when I did keto. I'm just saying. And these women on these diabetes groups, these women on this diabetic group, they couldn't handle me being direct about that. They were like, my tone is too mean. I'm sorry, but this is what is wrong with society. We just want to sleepwalk through our lives. I have another video that I want to do that was like bingo. I'm listening to another podcast about another unrelated issue to diet, but I kind of had, it was a very popular 80s film, and I just, yeah, it's my thoughts about the movie Labyrinth. And I had kind of a weird moment about going, because I love that movie. I love David Bowie. But, yeah, so this was just about my diet, and I couldn't believe the reaction I got from women that were, "I don't like your tone," and they just were like, "You're not a doctor, you just come off as too bossy, and maybe you need to change your tone and people would be more receptive," and I wasn't yelling, I didn't have everything in all caps, I just was being direct and said, "I'm frustrated." But, of course, we need to, people go, "Oh, you're raising your voice." I don't like that. You're telling me things I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that stuff. How dare you tell me things that are true? You're not a doctor. No, it's someone that I've done research on my own body, and I've done my homework. Have you? But people don't wanna they wanna be victims, you know? And I get it, we don't we like I've dealt with that. Yes, you're right. There's things that I don't wanna know. There's things that I'm like, "Ah, I can't handle this right now, and I take a break." I get it. Thing is, you come back and you do the work. You don't sit there and go, "Oh, you're telling me" I mean, this is basic stuff, people. It's basic stuff. If you can't handle someone telling you that you shouldn't be drinking sugary soda or that you shouldn't even be drinking sugar-free soda, I don't know what to tell you. If you can't handle that kind of information because, "Ooh, that's just too hard," like, "Oh my god, how dare you tell me that I can't drink my diet-free Pepsi?" You know? "How dare you?" Or, "I like my margarine. My margarine, I like that," and they just won't they're just, "How dare you? How dare you tell me that that's you're bossing me around. I don't like that." Because I'm telling you because fucking, sugar-free soda is bad for you? Look up the studies. But people don't wanna do that. They don't wanna deal with that. They'd rather complain about their their sugars and their glucose levels and complain about that and complain about how they hate the taste of water and there's all these other options. Like you can get seltzer water and put lemon in it, you know? And people are just whine, whine, whine because oh my God, we don't want to look at that. We don't want to look. No, 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 no. I was just amazed by the reaction I got. I shouldn't be, but I was. I was very disappointed. So I doubt if they'll ever post anything like from me again. But sorry, I don't know why you approved my message to begin with, but anyway. All right. Well, more on this later. I got to get ready for work and yay, go through that grind. So, anyway, all right. Thanks a lot. Okay, bye.